Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to another live stream here. Someone was saying there's a lot of news tonight. I did like a few things just now, so there should be some stuff here to react to. 50% tariff on Brazil. I feel like that's going to be negotiated down. There's another deadline August 1st. I feel like that's not going to stay in place. 50% seems like a little steep, although I don't know, maybe we don't do a ton of trade with Brazil. Tornado warning was canceled. Yeah, you're going to get tornado warnings certain areas. We haven't had weather like that here. It's been it's been just humid, man. It's been humid. Some is what it is. Kind of a I've been in this weird malaise today. I only got like 5 hours of sleep and woke up at like 6:30. And there's nothing wrong with waking up at 6:30. I would like to wake up earlier, but sometimes like once a month I just have this malaise where it's tough. Isn't it strange that Israel can develop a nuclear weapon but somehow can't figure out a bunker buster bomb? Yeah, I mean, I think that probably has to do with, their defense spending relative to what we spend on it. They probably could, but managing a budget, they have a much smaller budget than we do on defense. So they probably don't want to have those type of bombs take up some of their spending because those are, I guess, pretty expensive. Yeah, that's another thing. The weapons are ramped up. You've also got this. This is kind of like a no-brainer for the administration. Ban China from buying U.S. farmland. I mean, I thought they were going to ban it and then confiscate it, even clawing some of it back. I wonder really what the story is with this. It just seems so ass backwards that this would even be allowed. You'd think they'd be able to immediately ban it and then confiscate all of it. I mean, in a sense, it's like they're strategically buying up farmland. That's something that should immediately be outlawed, and all of it should be confiscated. It seems like they're like, oh, we're gonna ban it, and then eventually it'll be confiscated. How about this? Gavin Newsom. This is like, I don't know what their campaign is doing. This is like Newsom is acting like it's 2028, the primary, or 2027. We're not even a year away from midterms, and Newsom is in South Carolina. This is for like a primary campaign. I don't understand what this is. It's very odd. I don't know who's advising him to do this. I mean, he's just obsessed with like this. He wants to be president. I get it, but you're just forcing it at this point. Triple X's last president, Brazil, is now being investigated for attempted coup. New president is radical socialist, so Brazil deal not that simple. I mean, but 50% seems pretty steep. I guess they could probably get away with it. The Epstein memo total botch was also on purpose. I mean, that seems pretty crazy to embarrass your own administration on purpose like that. It does seem so ridiculous to the point to where you have to think there's something deeper to it than them just fucking up this bad. I mean, there could just be, they wanted it to go away, and to put it away, they said we're not talking about it anymore instead of leaving it open ended. They could have just left it open ended and not really addressed it. When's your last date? A while ago. Dershowitz has the list since he was the attorney for Epstein. Yeah, I was working on an Epstein video, and there's some real interesting stuff about Epstein and being obsessed with eugenics and things. And It's really, it looks really bad, with Israeli involvement for that. It looks like some serious involvement, but they want it to go away. Humiliation ritual. Well, they could just want people to stop speculating and talking about it. So that's why they put out a statement like that. But in a way, it is kind of a humiliation ritual just because nobody believes it and it's a terrible look for the administration. And what they're banking on is they're banking on the news cycle. Everybody, people forget, people, some people, I know there's a lot of Trump people saying they're not going to forget this. It's terrible. But you do have to wonder with the news cycle and how quickly it moves. And then the investigation of Comey, and that was obvious. I mean, they that was too obvious when they announced that, as a cover up or distraction. Did you see how bad Trump's face looked at the dinner? He looked like he was dying or something. He doesn't look good. I don't know. Was there something tonight? I can take a look, see if there's any clips. Or are you talking about yesterday? You're talking about yesterday with Netanyahu, or the day before when they had the dinner on Monday? You're talking about? Yeah, I didn't really notice his face too much, honestly. What do you think about the Dreamers? Know some who owns business here as well. Would be a shame if they left. Thought I would ask. Juan, what's up? Well, I think it'll be dependent on. I mean, apparently Trump is going to be lenient with certain, depending on certain illegals. He might be lenient on some of them. I mean, there's no way. The way I look at it, if there's 24 or 25 million illegals, they want to deport 4 million in 4 years. Now, whether or not the self deportations will bump it up significantly, we'll see. But I mean, hopefully, it seems like a small number. Trump talked with African leaders today. Yeah, no, I saw the leader of Liberia. Remember Liberia with Abraham Lincoln. That's where they were gonna send slaves there. That's why they bought that area. That you look at the flag of Liberia, it looks like the United States flag. They have our same constitution. And I saw that today. I was like, wow, I remember that. Yeah, I remember when he asked him about his egg-shaped penis. There's not too many deposit. I think it's, what is it, a deposition on Epstein, but that was like a 2-minute clip I saw. I remember seeing that. Trump is going to give amnesty and sell him as being Reagan. Now they would. Well, they're not going to call it amnesty. You could call it amnesty. I mean, they're going to do some type of temporary visa program, though. They've already said they're going to do. So if you want to call that amnesty, I mean, it might be temporary. It might be longer. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many it's going to be encompassing too. I mean, this is the thing. If they've got all these, if they've got like 30 illegals working at a specific farm and you go and you raid the farm, that farm's going to be very angry. So there's a lot of lobbying going on to make sure that the farms keep some of the illegals. They're so reliant on illegal labor because Americans aren't going to do it for anything under, I don't know what the going rate is, but you're going to have to pay Americans to do it. Dude, you donate me money every day. I mean, look at your username. Come on, man. Like, you donate me you donate me 99 cents with that. I mean, do you like Germany? They rest in They arrest and fine businesses who hire illegals. Well, that's what you should do, 100%. That would be the right thing to do. They are artificially keeping the wages and cost of food low, right? And it's also affecting housing. It's affecting a lot in the country for sure, especially 25 million. I mean, that's a big chunk. That's a lot. That's going to be a lot. Me and Gene, I appreciate the $20 donation. Deep State did in JFK and RFK. They used Epstein style surveillance to blackmail 1,000 American elites, and Trump can't publicize that. He wants to accomplish lots of major things. Define deep state. But yeah, I mean, you would definitely count. You would definitely there would definitely be some distrust. I mean, if everything came out and then it becomes this huge witch hunt on like 100 different political figures and past president. I mean, it does become a big thing if that were to happen. And there's so many levers, and but I mean, the problem is it's they could have handled it better to where this could have been avoided dealing with a situation like this. It's almost like it's total appeasement by the administration. That's the worst part. I mean, it's blatant lying. That's the worst part. You either avoid it or you say like right away when Trump got in, you say, well, they destroyed everything. But they didn't even say that. They say it doesn't exist after teasing the files and the phase two. I mean, it's all real unfortunate. AI will do better. Yeah, I mean, well, did you see what happened with Grok? They I remember reading something a while ago. This was years ago. They have to program. You have to program those language models. If you don't tell them, because of the way that it is in the United States, if you let it roam free with information, the language model is just going to appear racist 100%, like very racist 100% of the time. So what they have to do is they have to rein in the language models, and I guess they took the chains off of it, and I mean, you see, then it does all the stuff last night, and so they're like, we got to stop this, so they put the chains back on it. But that was Grok, and I guess they decided to. I didn't. That wasn't even Grok 4. I thought it was like their big release of Grok 4, and and now it's like uncensored. But it was still it was like a Grok 3 update, and now they're releasing Grok 4 today. Would it even make sense to release the list before any arrests? Right, but I mean, even if you want to say, but like the weird thing is, people say the list is already out there. There's people have compiled the potential lists, and there's the black book, the Epstein black book, which is really not a list, but it's everyone he's been in contact with. I mean, the problem is if you promise something and then you say it doesn't exist, the thing that you promised doesn't exist, it becomes an issue. You could have plausible deniability and say, well, they destroyed it. Okay, we'll go with that. But they didn't even do that. Since the Comey thing didn't work, what's the next round of slop the administration's going to feed us? It's going to be another Iran strike. No, I don't know, man, honestly. I know they've been talking about maybe there's more. Israel said they know where their enriched uranium is. They said it's partially underground, whatever that means. Yeah, I saw that. The Truflation at 1.66. Yeah. Energy and the energy sector's got to be really low. And also compared to where it was a year ago, I'm guessing there was a big spike last year at this time, so it's down significantly from that. But I think the core should be the core should be down then. The core should be down. So the rating is the 15th. AI are not racist, they're only telling the truth. Well, I hear what you're saying, and I'm just saying the way they program AI, they have to because it'll be seen as you can't say certain things in the United States or they're not politically correct, and so that's why they have to rein the AI in, and it's like, well, you can't say that, you can't admit that, you can't say it, and so I guess they unshackled it, and it was interesting to see it because I do remember reading about, if you let the AI roam free, it's gonna be, people would be surprised. Well, I don't know if they'd be surprised, but some people would be surprised at how perceived, how racist it's perceived, I guess. Even though Trump is compromised, he's still better than Kamala. Well, I mean, obviously, I mean, Trump is definitely better than Kamala, but Kevin, I appreciate the dollar. That's a Big Mac. That's a free Big Mac for me. Do you think Trump administration is holding on to smoke and guns until right before the midterms? No. In terms of what? I think they're shutting this whatever the situation is down. I don't think there's. I mean, the Democrats are kind of in a place to where there's really, they don't have a leader, so I don't even know who you would. The midterms will be interesting, but the Republicans are doing some pretty gnarly gerrymandering right now, or they're trying to do. We'll see if they're able to do it. Trump should create a citizenship requirement for welfare eligibility. Saves taxpayers trillions of dollars. Would it save that much? Calling itself Hitler and acting like Hitler is definitely on the racist side. Yeah, but you understand you can program those things to be very left wing as well. So they just opened they opened the other side of it, and then I guess they closed it again. You can prompt the AI, I'm sure, to be an extreme communist. We were having such a good week with a bunch of wins until the Epstein stuff. Honestly, rather they kept silent instead of fumbling like this. Yeah, I mean, absolutely, they shouldn't. But I mean, this is almost like it is almost like a humiliation ritual or something. I mean, they had to have known it was going to be terrible. It's going to be terrible optics. And to be fair, both Bongino and Patel were both making statements like, There's nothing there." But you just wonder. I didn't know they were preparing us for this to say he didn't blackmail anyone, and nothing really exists from it. Ben Shapiro saying the Epstein files doesn't matter didn't surprise me. Well, I mean, it's obviously very good for him. Did Grok coin spike after the Hitler stuff? It probably did. Mean Gene, thank you. The $100. I appreciate it, man. If you are disappointed in Trump on a given day, make a list of his accomplishments. You're up to 23 wins. Yeah, it depends what you define as a victory. Like, you could define the current inflation rate as a victory, but in 3 months it might be in a different place. It just depends how you define wins, I think. Didn't Mossad get hit with the Iran strikes? Yeah, basically the Mossad version of the Pentagon got hit, apparently. I don't know how damaged it was. Israel keeps a lot of that stuff. They kept a lot of that on the low. They sent hypersonic missiles into Tel Aviv. They did. Your 9/11 video, man climbing down, is legendary. Well, I appreciate it. That's the first 9/11 video I ever did. Isn't that insane? The first ever 9/11 video I did is my most viewed video. And that, that was like a accumulation through years, but it can never be monetized. But it still gets some, it's a crazy situation. Will DVDs make a comeback? I think going to the movies at some point will make a comeback. I think people still go to the movies, but I think it'll make a comeback. These things, how they operate. We just need better movies. There'll be a renaissance. Could you grade Pam Bondi's performance so far? You'd give her a B. No, it'd be a lot lower than that. I mean, whether you say her hands are tied or not, I mean, she did blatantly lie. Best case, she blatantly lied. Worst case, it's a massive cover up. I mean, Bondi's got to be really low grade right now. Thoughts Trump has client lists using it as blackmail? Yeah, I know. I mean, I heard that theory yesterday, and it'd be a very charitable theory for Trump to, he's using it as blackmail against people in case something happens to him. I understand, but it seems very unlikely because it makes Trump look terrible in the public eye. To me, it's deeper than just Trump holding on to it personally. The Epstein stuff was many, many administrations and potentially Mossad, CIA, FBI involved. Yeah, we'll take a look at this. Did you see that one? I gotta show this. This is crazy. Look at this. So this is a Wakanda inspired city in Africa, but just look at this. And that's what they built. The music. Love your Stadium Sports videos. Can you make a separate channel for them though? See, I mean, at this point, I don't feel like I should really make a separate channel for them. I'm kind of stuck in between a rock and a hard place on what I should do with that. But it doesn't. I mean, again, I don't think it would really do well if I made a second channel. Even if you want to say that the videos aren't doing well right now because of, the politics crowd. They built like one, and you can kind of see the building design. It does look like one of these like they try building this futuristic. They got one outer shell done. They they wanted to finish. They said they were going to begin the building in 2020 and set to open in 2026, and this is what they got done. What country is this? I don't think it says. How are you feeling? I was feeling really weird today. I felt a malaise today, is because I don't think I got enough sleep. But I used to feel, a lot. I had some issues where from medicine things, it's gone away. But one place you would never want to visit, probably Bangladesh. Looks like a bunch of cold cuts. Yeah, this is what they try and do for like the a futuristic. It's like they just put in a generator, create a futuristic city, and this is kind of what it's all these weird looking buildings, the weird designs. And then the music made. I know. I'm wondering if they added that music in there, if the music was part of the original Vision pitch. I'd like to say they just added the music in. It's just nothing going. At least India got robbed by the British. Africa was never civilized in the first place. Well, now Africa is being robbed by the Chinese. Think about it. But I mean, it's like resource extraction because of how poor they are. Our senators here in Oregon are a freaking joke. Yeah, Oregon. I feel if you're a conservative in Oregon, you could definitely be a conservative. I'm sure there's a lot of rural areas in the eastern side of the state, but yeah, Oregon's going to be very liberal. Washington State very liberal. Visit a Mexican country that's a tourist place. Too nice of weather to miss out. I've been to Mexico once. I don't know. Mexico, it's like it's dicey with the cartels. Now everybody says that, but there have been some abductions of tourists. You got to be a bit careful with Mexico. You go off of the resort if you go to a resort, that's a problem. Same thing in Oregon and Washington. West Coast is predominantly Democrat. Everything else is Republican. Yeah, I mean any rural or small town is very likely going to be Republican. Yeah, I did hear about the Biden doctor pleading the fifth or something. Angel Reese gets named to the cover over Caitlin Clark. The only reason anyone watches the WNBA is because of Caitlin Clark. But I'm just sick of hearing about that. T-Mobile getting rid of DEI. Wisconsin closing down DEI division. You almost got to be concerned they just end up making another initiative. That maybe it's not DEI, but it's something similar. Jasmine Crockett said the people who tried to kill Trump in Butler and Florida were his supporters. That's not true at all. Neither of them were Trump supporters. And why would Trump supporters try and kill him anyways? That's not true. Especially the Ukraine guy. In your opinion, why are New Yorkers, especially in finance, consistently voting against their own interests? Well, I think it's a lot of young people. I mean, I think the finance people voted for Cuomo. It's a lot of young. I mean, the demographic that voted for Mondani was like 20-year-old women and white girls. To be honest, I mean that's who it was. But also white, liberal white guys that are younger. I mean that it wasn't like Mondani won by a ton, but it was just very young people. You see Meth out Destiny on Piers Morgan today? No, I didn't see it. I haven't seen many Piers Morgan stuff recently. When it just hasn't been recommended to me, I guess, or it just hasn't shown up on my For You page. Update on Carmelo Anthony situation. Heard it's getting bad for him. I think he'll go. I heard there was a video, and the people that say they see the video, they said you could potentially get the video in a Freedom of Information Act request, of the situation, but you can't film it. So people have seen the video, and they said that it was not self-defense. He escalated with a knife, and so the self-defense claim is not gonna hold. Look up Congressman Dan Goldman. Dude is crazy. Well, yeah, I'm sure if you're talking about in liberal states, they're very bad. How quickly will the Epstein stuff disappear? No one's reporting about it anymore. Well, I mean, it depends what the next situation is. I know there are some Trump people that say they're not going to forget about it. They draw the line here. I mean, we'll see. It's one of those things to where this is just we have such short attention spans, but it's always going to be there. I mean, it's a terrible look by Trump, and this is not like this is something that's happened. With the Iran thing, people were overreacting and they were saying, well, Trump's got us in this war. And it was never really, they were over embellishing it. And then so when it's over, you can kind of look back and say that's not bad. With this situation, people can forget about it. But if you look back on it, it's still a terrible look for Trump. You can't say the same thing about the Iran situation. The Iran situation, you can say was just, and it was salvaged by Trump because it barely lasted any time. This is a little bit different to where it's something that's really bad and like a blatant cover up. So it's really hard to defend that. They are all traitors to this country, more loyal to Israel than to America. Well, I mean, think about being involved with politics. Like, if you wanted to get involved with politics and try and win some type of race, I mean, there's about 50 people you have to go through, not on the Democratic side, but on your own side to get money. So there's so many relationships that you have to make, and there's so many people that you have to appease in U.S. politics. It's one of those things to where there's going to be a lot of allegiances that are not the United States, unfortunately. George Santos heads to prison saying, I'm not suicidal.
President Trump, James Comey and John Brennan now under criminal investigation related to the Trump-Russia probe. Do you want to see these two guys behind bars?
Well, I know nothing about it other than what I read today, but I will tell you, I think they're very dishonest people. I think they're crooked as hell, and maybe they have to pay a price for that. I believe they are truly bad people and dishonest people, so whatever happens.
Yeah, did you see that was Ducey who asked him that from the Fox News correspondent? He really grilled Trump yesterday, or someone, or maybe it was 2 days ago about it. The Trump administration, I'm sure, was not very appreciative of that. I wonder if they said something to him. I mean, not that he can't ask questions, but I just wonder, with him being a Fox News guy, they were probably not too happy about that. Give us your resources. We love you. Dating apps are not working out. Lindsey Graham recommended Grindr. He is not gay, but his boyfriend is. I appreciate the donation, Adam. Trump has a positive approval rating in New Mexico. I don't know how you trust that poll. I don't know if we should trust a poll like that. Maybe. How far can you throw a football? I could throw a football a decent length, but it would hurt my arm. It hurt my arm really bad because I haven't thrown in a while. My arm would get really sore. But if I worked up to it, I could throw a football decent. I could throw a baseball probably like 85 miles per, maybe like 82. If I worked up to it, I could throw a baseball maybe like 82. Do you know who the Enforcer channel is? The dude keeps telling young men it's their duty to go fight and die in a world war over Russia. I don't know who that channel is. Yeah, I mean, I know that's a. I don't know if it's a liberal or what, but that's a liberal point of view in terms of they love defending Ukraine, but then, when it comes to actual deaths, they kind of brush it off. But I mean, Trump is sending more weapons to Ukraine. I mean, obviously, there's not a situation where we get, imagine European. There's an Article 5. That would be the worst case scenario. But I don't think Russia's that dumb to do that, to invade a NATO country. If you had to guess what is being hidden about Epstein, what are your thoughts? Mossad, CIA asset, or just high-powered procure for the elite clients on both sides of the aisle? Yeah, I think it's heavily. I mean, it has to be some type of cooperation, but I think it's heavily Mossad related. But I think it has to be, and so you're talking about Israel and the United States. Neither of these countries want anything to come to light based off of this. I mean, obviously he was compromising politicians, and it's a very bad look for both governments, both countries, and so they're trying to make it go away. He has cool intel, but can't get behind that rhetoric. Yeah, I mean, I understand. I mean, I can understand their perspective of you can't allow Russia to just trounce over Europe, but I think their perspective is wrong in terms of like how what they do is they'll fearmonger Russia as this massive threat, and especially from a U.S. perspective. I mean, a European perspective. If you live in Europe, I have no problem with them being wary of Russia based off of their location, but I think the representation of how big of a threat Russia is the only thing that shapes their argument in terms of I think they view Russia as a much more bigger threat than they are to the United States specifically. Especially considering you look at Russia struggling to a degree in Ukraine. $2. Would love to see you on CNN arguing with Dems. CNN, it might be a bit too young for CNN. The only well, there's a black dude I see on CNN sometimes, but it's just Scott Jennings. And then sometimes this other dude. Any breaking Titanic news, new Titanic videos. I don't know, man. I haven't really thought about the Titanic doing. I know people said maybe to do a Titanic iceberg, or maybe like 50. You know what? I might decide to do videos on both the Twin Towers and Titanic, like random facts that you didn't know or something. I never did styles like that because I could probably think of some off the top of my head that would be good, and then research others. Have you tried using Hinge? I mean, a while ago. Hinge. You could argue is even worse. I know they say it's the hot dating app. Hinge is pretty brutal. Will they make another Titanic vessel? I don't think so, man. I don't think they're gonna do it. Um, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, they'd have to modernize it. With the new cruise ships now, they all have balconies and they all have all these different amenities and all these different pools and stuff. So it doesn't really. I mean, it's a floating museum. If they were gonna make another Titanic, I feel like they would have done it. They would have done it already, and it'd be a floating museum, and it would just port and become basically like a floating hotel almost. Like I can't see it being there being a ton of cruises with a ship like Titanic, just because You know, it's a very niche thing. Hopped into Nasdaq 420 today. Too late of an entry. Yeah, well, I mean, I wouldn't say it's too late of an entry. I hope the coin goes to 1 billion. So hopefully it's not too late of an entry for you. You'd still get a significant. I mean, but the entries are very important. They are very important. But I would say, no, it's not too late of an entry for Nasdaq. We haven't even reached the actual run yet. I mean, look at the alt dominance. The alts are still getting crushed. Ethereum has started to go up now. That's good news. We're starting to see more positive movement with some of these coins. My portfolio is, it's starting actually to recover for, the first time in like 7 or 8 months. Thoughts on Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens collab? Yeah, I mean, I saw that. It seemed like she was going at him there a little bit, but you know how they do it with the trailers and stuff. I don't know, man. It's like you do a podcast. Why not just put it online? Why does there have to be like 3 weeks wait and then trailers like a fucking movie? But I guess that's how they do it now. Favorite college football game of all time? That's a hard one, man. Whew. There were some good Rose Bowl games, some really good. The Penn State USC Rose Bowl was really fun. Would you ever ride on a submersible? I don't. I mean, maybe. I mean, if you get an opportunity, I mean, it's hard to turn down that because it's an interesting experience. But I mean, going down that low, I wouldn't go down to the Titanic. That's a multi-day thing. You have to train. I think you have to train your ears for it because of the pressure and everything. It's not worth it. The Titanic is in a very bad state. It's got rusticles all over it. To me, it's not worth going down to see it. Even before the situation with Stockton Rush. Dating apps work for me. Been on several dates. Yeah, I mean, it just depends on certain things, what you're looking for. I mean, how attractive you are, and Trump releases client list and World War III starts. Thoughts on that? Well, I mean, you think it would have a cascade effect? I don't think it would really correlate with World War III starting. I mean, I don't like fear mongering World War III in general, and it's like everyone talks about World War III and stuff, and I understand why, but who really knows how when World War III is gonna happen? It's been so long since a world war, knock on wood, but I don't know. I mean, I don't think World War III would start over. I think it'd be a big problem for Israel and for the United States, though. And Trump, there has to be a calculation. I mean, it's going to be a significant problem for our economy. And I'm not saying that's a great excuse, but this is just, you have to look at all of the facts. Georgia, Oklahoma, Rose Bowl. Yeah, dude, that was a great Oklahoma team. The Oklahoma, I thought they were better than Georgia, honestly. But I thought they outplayed Georgia during that game, but Georgia came back. Piers Morgan had Epstein's brother on, really? Hmm. Oh, you know what? I think I did see that. I saw that on here somewhere. Nvidia now becomes first ever company in the world to reach 4 trillion market cap. Yeah. What is Bitcoin at? Probably like 2.2, 2.3 trillion. Nvidia's at 4 trillion now. Opinion on Trump putting 50% tariff on Brazil. Brazil saying they will retaliate. Well, we'll have to see how much trade. I mean, the 50% tariff. So it goes from 10% to 50%. I've been told that Trump doesn't have a good relationship. The leader there is a socialist bitch or something. Well, it is what it is. I mean, there might be a deal with them by August 1st, but if there's not, I mean, it's depending on how much trade we do with Brazil. We can easily survive it. I don't think it would be terribly inflationary. Obviously, they know they have all the numbers and stuff, so they know. If we do like 3% of trade with them, what does it matter if we tariff them at 50%? Really, it's like I don't think it's a problem. You think they could be holding back the client list for a special time for political reasons? No, I think they're burying it, honestly. I really do. Because think about it. Why would Bongino and Patel go around on different podcasts saying basically there's nothing here? You think they're really doing that in this elaborate strategic game? I think they were trying to bring down expectations, making those public appearances. Now, I don't think anyone expected this to basically say nothing exists, but there was obviously a plan. I don't think there's an elaborate thing here. I mean, who knows? I think everyone's trying to piece something together because it's such a crazy, crazy thing and people are pissed off about it, but it just seems kind of like based off of how long this stuff has been out and based off of Trump's coyness in releasing it, I think in terms of who would be in whatever is released, whether it's the files, whether it's the list, whatever they have, I think there's probably some people that Trump knows and he thinks that they're innocent or something, and so he doesn't want it. But it's also possibly not even a Trump decision. And I know that sounds crazy, but there's a number. I mean, this is multiple administrations that have held this up and kept anything from getting out. Go on a rant about pausing immigration from every non-European country, including India. Well, I mean, I think we definitely need an immigration pause for sure. Because even if you want to say just you can easily explain it away as because we have 25 million illegals in this country, why would we not pause immigration? Shouldn't we get these people? We don't even know how many illegals are in this country, so it only would make sense. But it's also just the lack of assimilation and also making us feel like the Americans were racist for trying to force these people to say they should assimilate. But it's assimilation, it's a cultural thing. The problem is they've redefined what an American is, and so now it's all hell is broken loose. The DC flood? Really? Washington DC flooded? Or are you talking about something else? I saw the New Mexico flood.
Mr. Masad, just for your sake, I just want to clarify a couple things that you said to make sure you meant to say what you said. Did you call Bitcoin a native token?
Yeah, it's often referred to as a native. In other words, Bitcoin and ETH are referred to as native tokens of the blockchain.
So you're saying Ether and Bitcoin are the same?
Well, I'm classifying both of them as what you call native tokens of the blockchain.
So you're saying that a native token is how you would describe Bitcoin. I just want to be clear of that.
It's a term that's used to describe when you have a blockchain and you have the token that allows you to use that blockchain, that's often called a native token, yes.
Got it. And therein lies exactly why we need to have this market structure regulation. Because the idea that we would turn over this industry to some bureaucrat working at some agency is insane. Because that would make it so that no American company would ever invest in a digital asset company in the United States of America when you had people who are just completely not lacking the fundamental technical base. This reminds me of the Facebook ad where the little old lady's sitting there taking pictures off a physical wall and the guy saying, yeah, none of this works this way. Bitcoin is a commodity.
Well, I think he meant to say it's a digital coin. But look, the point is they're gonna have. I mean, they're doing some hearings right here, and they're gonna have a big crypto week, and so we're gonna see a lot of stuff with crypto. We're gonna hope they do something with the. There's gonna have to be something done with What is what is to me the only time, and I know it's tough to do this but really you should only be taxed when you take the money out and it becomes fiat. That's when you should be taxed with crypto. Because if you're getting taxed with all these other transactions, it becomes a big issue. Trust me. I mean, think about it. They release it on Sunday night, and then Netanyahu does the celebration dinner on Monday night. I mean, I guess you could say it's because of the Iran situation. That's why Netanyahu came. But it does seem very close together. What's going on today? Just joined. Also, Nvidia hit 4 trillion. Yeah, I just saw that. Nvidia hit $4 trillion market cap. I think Bitcoin's gonna pass it soon. Actually, I don't know. No, I don't think Bitcoin will 2x, because Bitcoin has to like 2x to pass it. Gavin Newsom campaigning for the 2028 election. This is huge. This is huge.
The fact that you had a president of the United States, or at least former president, that was running again, who wanted to put America in reverse, wanted to bring us back to a pre-1960s world. On voting rights, civil rights, LGBTQ rights, on women's rights, not just access to abortion, but access to contraceptive care.
Bro, why are you in Florence, South Carolina? Like, come on. Flash flood tornado warning has just been issued, Washington, D.C. I wonder how much rain they're going to get. It's 4D chess strategy to make the people on the list lower their guard, and when they least expect it, there will be mass arrests. Rate my copium out of 10. Well, I mean, I don't know. That's about a 9 out of 10. It's about a 9. All of his voters got deported. Yeah, but it is funny how like South Carolina apparently is the first primary state after Iowa or something. I don't know. It's insane that you would actually campaign for 2028 at this point. It doesn't look good, and nobody really is. I mean, I guess if you want to go that try hard, other liberals are probably pissed off about it. I mean, it's like you're getting a 2-year head start on everyone. Imagine he goes to every state in the country, and then the DNC gets angry. Well, they just choose whoever they want anyways. The DNC. The swamp is getting swampier. Drain the swamp. Drain the swamp. The swamp is gonna flood even more. No, you didn't get banned, man. Why would you get banned? Can Trump bring America back to 1960 golden age? Yeah, that Newsom's like, don't threaten me with a good time. He's trying to assert himself in the party. Yeah, he's trying to be the ultimate leader. Going around about Canada's terrible demographics. Well, I mean, their demographics have just gotten obliterated. Because think about it, they've already got a small population compared to their total land area. Their entire population is in the southern part of the farther southern part of the country, and their big cities have been crushed. I mean, go to one of their malls; it's terrible. And apparently, they've got a project. It's called like 21. It's a New Century project, like Project 2100 or 2170 or 2070. You know, they're trying to double their population through migrants. Right, Eternal, Shiny, and Chrome. Pat's Trick. Pat's Trick. Is that supposed to be a play off my name? I don't know. Thank you for the donation. Show the flood videos. Dude.
It's not just about draining the swamp. My contention.
Hey guys, I've seen a lot of things out here, but I've never seen flooding this bad. You can see that there's a bunch of cars up front. You can't even see the street. God bless these people walking in this, because this is a nightmare. I think this is awful. This is awful flooding in Southeast. At one point, other cars were coming past my car, and them just driving down the street splashed so much water in front of my car that I couldn't even see.
You demand the cat, the cat. You want the cat to make an appearance.
Look at that. Look at all of that water.
Dude, it's like a quarter of an inch.
Heading right down Rhode Island. It's all heading right towards the Alamo, basically. I'm rolling this up now.
I'm not autistic. That's like a trendy thing. They call everyone autistic now. Yeah, that's obviously not in DC. It's just a Thursday, to be honest, in DC. Or in Florida. Yeah, they're not used to that type of rain. They got torrential downpour in DC today, and so... Elon unfollowing Mike Johnson. He probably unfollowed all of the Republicans because he's got his own party now.
I don't know if anybody's familiar with Los Angeles, but I'm actually on the 110, literally about 5 miles from downtown. Where the fuck are the cars? I almost felt like it was a Sunday. Where the hell? Holy shit. Look at this. You know what, Trump? It's working, brother. Please keep working. Work harder this time. I mean, I know you've been working pretty damn hard. And we love you for it, by the way. But good God. There's no more traffic in Los Angeles. Yay!
Yeah, well, that's I guess the raids have. I'm surprised the raids have had that much of an effect to where it's noticeable like that. If that's true. Used to be watched by Epstein's hidden cameras. Yeah, the entire complex had hidden cameras. It was like a booby trap. If the number of illegals here is actually up to 30 million or even more, there's no funding for ICE and nothing Trump can do to cut deeply into it within 4 years. Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. But the thing is even if it's 20 million, I feel like you're only cutting into a fourth of it. That's the problem. I mean, I guess if you get sustained deportations and then Vance wins, but even that, it's like, you know, at a certain point, what's going to happen is with the people, I feel like people are going to turn back to the previous viewpoint, which is kind of, well, the illegals that commit other crimes need to be deported, but the ones that are working are all right. Because, it's gotten so bad to where now independent people say, well, everyone should be deported, but I feel like that might change because Trump's got to have it under control, and then people are they're gonna let their guard down. So I wonder if that'll change back. Unfortunately, it probably will. It's funny looking back on election night, Trump's victory speech, he was promoting Elon. Things change quick. Yeah, and also just things change quick in politics, but also Elon's completely unstable. And Doge was we can respect them for getting rid of the USAID and some other things, but obviously it did not achieve what they wanted it to achieve, and it's produced a new political party apparently. And who knows what he's going to do with this new political party? It might not even make it. I mean, you just don't know with him. We would need 8 years Vance and then another Republican administration. Yeah, I don't really see, to me, it doesn't really, because with the way the United States works, I mean, you could get technically another Republican, but it's not like a Republican's going to be ruling for 20 years or anything like that. It normally goes back and forth. Kind of yo-yos back and forth when it comes to the parties. So, I mean, Vance could win. But even if he does, you're going to have to continue to fund it, the deportations heavily. Would Vance keep the same policies that Trump has, or would he flip-flop? Yeah, I mean, I would imagine he'd probably try and run similar to what Trump has, as long as Trump has a relatively good enough approval rating. You're not going to really want to flip out because you're already kind of pigeonholed in the whole MAGA stuff, and that is what it is. So I don't see why he would flip on anything outside of something being like very advantageous for him to slightly tweak maybe for the 2028 election. Elon Grok 4 live stream. Yeah, I remember the Grok 3 live stream, so now it's Grok 4. I wonder how those coins are doing. Yeah, this coin is about to tank because once it comes out, it's pretty much, that's it. The coin serves no purpose once it comes out. I guess they were originally going to do a Grok 3.5 and then they said screw it, we'll just do Grok 4. Who will join Elon's party? I think Thomas Massey. Maybe a few others. There's a few independents. I don't know if they will. I mean, I wonder if Elon tries to snipe anyone from like Trump's that are like previous Trump supporters. Probably. That's probably where he'll go. Did you stand by and respect Biden? Is your leader when he was the president? Yeah, but I didn't vote for Biden. So that's a little bit different. I mean, Biden was my president. I mean, he was. I didn't vote for him. But I think it's kind of, when you say this person's not your president, it's kind of nonsensical. Whatever happened to DeepSeek 2.0? Now it's like called R2. What it's called is their R2 release. They couldn't do it because there was they got cucked by the lack of NVIDIA chips. I think as part of the trade war. I think it's part of the trade war. Trump endorses Tom Cotton and Roger Marshall for re-election. Kansas and Arkansas. Happy birthday to Lindsey Graham. Dude, look at Trump. Man, Trump looks real old in that photo. Trump writing a book with every tweet. Yeah, well, he has. You would think the women would space it out a little bit, but you know he doesn't. He doesn't even tweet it. It's he tells them what to say, and then they write it or they type it. Yeah, it is a brutal photo. Yeah, when Trump's not on the golf course, he doesn't have his makeup. You got to remember, he's 79. U.S. House taking historic steps to ensure U.S. remains crypto capital of the world. Well, what did they pronounce it? Crypto capital of the world like 2 months ago, and now they're saying it's got to stay there.
Resources in our sea waters, so lots of fishing and whatnot. I don't want to spend too much time on this.
But I appreciate it very much. I appreciate it. Maybe we're going to have to go a little bit quicker than this because we have a whole schedule. If I could just say it's, your name and your country would be great. Thank you, please.
Muito obrigado, Sr. Presidente Trump.
Resources in our sea
Wrap it
waters.
up. He wanted him to wrap it up real fast. Dude went on for 5 minutes. I wasn't watching it. Was it bad? Have you seen the clip of Trump complimenting the Liberian president about his English when Liberia was an American? Yeah, you know what? I remember Liberia because that's where Lincoln, they were going to resettle the slaves in Liberia. That's why we bought it. Look at Liberia's flag. It's like a branch off of the U.S. flag. They have the U.S. Constitution. So we have an interesting relationship with Liberia. But they were originally planning to send the slaves, back to Liberia. But a lot of the slaves said they didn't want to go, and that because we were going to free them. And it's an interesting backstory. I was going to do a video on it at one point, but I never got around to it. What did they buy it for? Like $10? Yeah, back then it was very cheap. But I mean, it's all relative with inflation, but it's still very cheap. All land was very cheap relative to what it is today. It just keeps getting more and more expensive, not only because of inflation, but just in general. Like, look at our purchase of Alaska, in the 1800s. Thoughts on the best sun chip flavor? Yours is the red bag. Man, sun chips are okay. I haven't had sun chips in forever though. The red bag is decent. The green one is decent, I think. They all kind of taste the same, if I remember. The blue one, yeah, they all kind of aren't they the same? What do you think of Grok turning anti-Semitic? It's just because with those language models, you can't set it to what they set it. They set it to free roam, and so the AI will always do that. And then they had to turn it off. So it doesn't surprise me because they were doing those tests back in like 2015 and they said it was always going to be racist. Perceived as racist. Did you see the Nelk Boys had a meeting with Bibi? It's crazy. Did they seriously have a meeting? That's you know, with the Nelk Boys, their audience is all young kids. All of the young kids dislike Israel. That probably went over like a lead balloon if they actually met with Netanyahu. Can you go to Epstein Brother on Piers Morgan? I don't know. Here, let's watch this. I don't know.
Question, Destiny.
Who's president there? But
Destiny, I want to ask you a question. So, a woman called Kylie Jane Kramer posted on X. I've been trying to wrap my head around how the flooding in Texas became so devastating so quickly. Why not evacuate? Then I saw this. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick said the Guadalupe River rose 26 feet in just 46 minutes around 4 a.m. That doesn't even seem natural. To which you reposted this, and you put your own words. I heard God killed those kids because they were using NordVPN, promo code Destiny, to get around the Texas porn ban. On reflection, do you think that was grotesquely tasteless thing to be posting?
absolutely not. The hand wringing, the hand wringing here. Oh my God! Stop. If you want to talk about dead children, then you should talk about the residents of Kerr County who rejected using ARPA funds to build the very siren system that Ted Cruz was over here virtue signaling about. Now that the kids are dead, last I checked, the siren system isn't bringing anybody back to life. Okay, the very same.
The idea that you would argue as moral justification for making fun of little girls dying, relating it to whether or not funds were spent on some siren, bruh, come on.
System that they could have built for the better part of the last decade. They didn't want to touch those ARPA funds because they thought that if they did, Biden would go and steal their homes, which is the exact same.
You know he knew none of this before he tweeted it out. He's trying to do this as like a cover.
Lie that was told in North Carolina when people were rejecting FEMA funds because they thought that if the government was giving them money for their houses, they'd steal it. If you want to talk about,
you should see right through this.
If you want to talk about grotesque and ghoulish things that are being said,
it's what you put online. I agree with you. It's what you run online. It is grotesque. It's disgusting. But I mean, I guess that's what you do.
How long have people like you? How long have people like you told us that if we spend less money in Ukraine, you guys are going to spend more money investing in things like infrastructure in the United States? Where is that money going?
Oh, we just had another. We just had another
massive debt increase. Another massive debt increase for more tax cuts for wealthy people. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
All right, let me get a Ben.
Dude, he spurged. I mean, you know, I think he knows it's probably a bad thing to say. Oh, I said I made fun of dead kids. What about Ukraine?
You got Bondi, you got Patel, you got Barr. All of these people work for Trump, okay? So if they're covering up for somebody, who do you think they might be covering up for?
So you think they're covering up for President Trump?
People look at all of us. Everybody is looking at little pieces of this and coming up with kind of theories. But people really take the time because there's a lot of facts, there's a lot of information. People who take the time and really investigate this thoroughly all come to the pretty much conclusion that maybe Trump was behind this.
Wow.
Well, maybe Jeff was killed to quiet him.
You think President Trump has something to do with Epstein, with your brother being killed?
I wouldn't write that off.
Yeah, it seems like he's throwing things around.
Because if you look at all of the evidence we have and all of the facts, not opinions, and all of the facts, that wouldn't be something I would dismiss.
I mean, that's an extraordinary thing to say, but there is zero evidence that Donald Trump had anything to do with your brother's death.
Well, somebody did.
Yeah, I mean, what dude's just throwing. He wants to make headlines. I heard about Trump putting 50% tariffs on Brazil. Yeah, I heard about that. People were telling me about it. It's crazy they're just talking to Epstein's brother. Well, the dude's trying to make headlines. We've been dragged so far to the main quest. People are happy he ended a war that he literally started. Yeah, but come on. I mean, dude, you're misrepresenting that. People continue to say like, "Oh, that war. What was our involvement in that war? Dropping 12 total missiles. That was our involvement." Like, the people, you got to stop with the connotation about this horrible war. Like, come on. You're misrepresenting that. It was not, you're like, "Oh, he dragged us into a war and got us out of it." Dude, we were in it for a day. There were no U.S. soldiers that were touched. Are we going to pretend his brother didn't have some... Yeah, but did you listen to him? He sounded like he was just spitballing. He's like, "I don't know, maybe." He was like using his plausible deniability. It didn't sound like he knew much. Boomer Titus. Boomer Titus. Well, I mean, he is a boomer. Will Trump win the Nobel Peace Prize? I don't think so. I mean, maybe if he ends the... From what I see, probably not. They don't want to give it to him. And Netanyahu nominating him might have lowered his chances. You always talk down on being blackpilled, but any smart person will ultimately become blackpilled. Well, I mean, being blackpilled, it's like, what's the point of even talking then? If you just think you're not going to get anything. You got to be able to enjoy things. You don't think Trump has a chance to win the Nobel Peace Prize after the Epstein thing? Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they factor that. I think it's just like a war-based thing, but yeah, I guess they take everything into account. Do you think Trump knows that most Americans hate Israel? No, I mean, younger Americans, I think, hate Israel, but not Americans. You know, he is a boomer, so he doesn't know that at all. He doesn't think that, and I don't think that's true. I mean, it might be like 60% dislike Israel to 40% now, but I don't think it's like 90-10. Live subscribers count. Yeah, but the thing is, dude, it's like, what's the point of me putting it up right now if I add it? Because I'm at 295. It's going to take multiple weeks unless something happens when I go viral. It's going to take multiple weeks for me to hit it. So I might put it up when it's at like 298 or 299. Six Secret Service agents suspended over Butler, Pennsylvania assassination attempt. What a clever rebuttal. I'm Russian. You really owned me. I never said you were Russian. I mean, I don't care, bro. But it's like, you're going around saying, I mean, anyone could be blackpilled and just say, "Oh, you know, isn't that one of that's one of like I feel like that's one of the most lacking of nuanced things you could say. Oh, none of the politicians care about anything, so what's the point? It's like, all right, man. Well, then why are you in a political stream? Why are boomers so captured by Israel? They lived in a different world. They live in a different time. They lived in a different United States, you know, in their 20s, 30s, even 40s. Otani might be baseball GOAT. It's going to be weird for Otani, I think, whether or not people consider him the GOAT, because he, you know, you could be very good at both pitching and hitting, but he's not going to have the longevity because he came to the MLB so late. Trump's announced 50% tariffs on copper. Well, I mean, he's hiking the tariffs back up again. It's for the August 1st. Well, dude, if you're black pilled, I mean, what the thing is I don't know. What do you just want attention? It's like you're doing this exhibition where you type out a bunch of paragraphs and it's like, all right. Do you think this week was bad for Trump? Yeah, this week was objectively bad for Trump. There's no denying it. Epstein isn't going away. Trump's comments were the worst thing he could have done, insensitive to the victims. Well, I understand what you're saying, but you think the last administration, by sweeping it under the rug, was insensitive as well? I mean, you know, this rhetoric is like, and I get it. It's Trump said that people shouldn't care and stuff, and that's not good that he said that. But I mean, this is multi-administrations. This is not just, you know, it's not just a Trump thing. And, you know, Republicans, we tried to get Trump to do something about it. There's a genocide happening in my dude. Is that a, you know, there's a genocide happening and you're watching a live stream. How dare you, dude? There's a genocide. How can you watch a live stream? I mean, when you guilt like that, I feel like you're either being sarcastic or I don't know what. How about you ignore these doomers and be more like Benny Johnson? So depressing with the chat. Well, I mean, I think Benny has a lot more boomer audience, so it's maybe easier. You know, when you get that big, you're gonna get a lot more positivity. What's up with Fuentes fans trying to blackpill and beef with people in the chat? Yeah, I don't know. There's some of them that come in and try and argue, but you know, it's this Israel stuff. The Israel stuff has been a lot of them have been emboldened by it. So yeah, man, you really I mean, listen, I can understand trying to troll me, but that name is like, I mean, that name's a little bit come on. That name's a little uncalled for, man. Yeah, they're not going to change anything. She Grok comments, yeah, I saw him, and that was like the big thing on. I talked about it earlier in the stream. The Grok, the third Grok Reich. You're not trying to be a dick, but this is really bad, and I voted for Trump. No, I agree with you. I don't know what you want me to do about it. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. I said it was really bad for Trump, and they should have handled it differently, and it was a fuck up. But you know, I don't know what do you want me to do about it? Dude. There's no way. There's no way on that comment. He wants me to grab Trump by the collar. No, I can understand you being angry and stuff, but it's just like I get it. There's really nothing I can do about it. Thank you for the $5, Robert. Epstein signed his will 2 days before dying. His brother Mark was the only heir to the 577 million fortune and put his millions into a secret trust too. Man, he signed it 2 days before dying. Well, that would then lead to they would use that as him doing it on purpose, him actually killing himself because he puts the will 2 days before, but. Now I didn't give a timeout to that guy. My mod did. That guy came in here. Look, I have no problem with letting people talk and whatever. I didn't even give him the timeout. But obviously he's pushing. You know, it's like, dude, we get it. At a certain point, put a muzzle on it. It's like, all right, man, we get it. You'd think politicians are useless. Groundbreaking. That would indicate suicide. I know, that's what I'm saying. If you're gonna sign the will and then do it 2 days later, obviously it would lead to the idea that you're planning to do it. That's why the will gets done. What really needs to happen is there's no more party affiliation. People might vote differently if they don't see a D or an R next to the name. Well, I mean, but the thing is they're still so drastically different. I mean, I agree with you on this. You're really, this is a tough topic. I know it's bad. It's a uniparty thing. It is. But there's so many other topics, that affect the United States significantly that obviously Democrats and Republicans have opposite opinions on. Seriously, it's true. His will is available online, stamped August 8th. To that, I wonder what the history on that though is. I wonder if it's like, was it over multiple weeks? Was it because there could be some interesting, intriguing facts on that. If he did it in a day, like because it would lead to the idea that he did do it himself. Yeah, there are some weird names on here. I mean, how long? Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. How long can a name be on a username be? YouTube, save me. Save me, YouTube. The names. Jack, what's up, man? 50 characters seems crazy for a name. What's up, Dunn? What if Trump is using the list for his own game? Yeah, I know. People are saying he's using it as leverage. That's definitely a charitable interpretation. I don't think that's what it is because it makes Trump look terrible. I mean, but the thing is we have to think outside the box because the situation looks so bad. You almost think it's something else because of how bad it looks. Dystopian as hell when you think about all the people, leaders who might be implicated. Yeah, I know. I don't think Trump is in it because you can tell, you know, they're based off some things, but I mean, there could be people there's certainly people within the government that would be in it for sure, and they're obviously protecting them. They want it to go away. There's a lot of powerful people protecting each other. It's a very bad situation. Looks like the Chiefs are moving to Kansas. Man, it's gonna be a hellscape for football with all these new dome stadiums. Should be illegal to hide evidence. Seems like a real bad precedent. Well, I mean, it's the executive branch. It's hard, it's hard to rein that in. I mean, and this is something that's been hidden for so long anyways, and there, who knows if it's exists anymore. I know Pam Bondi said some real dumb things, and Vance came out with a statement on how America is a place and not an idea. Yeah, well, I think that's right-wing fodder. But yeah, I mean, obviously a lot of the people on the right rejects the fact that, we're an idea. It's immigration rhetoric. Releasing the list would destabilize the world economy, so they never will. Yeah, it depends how wide the scale is in terms of the perpetrators. Tips for making YouTube videos. Never done it before. Well, it's hard to make a new channel, man. You gotta find a niche and then look at the people that are successful in that niche, especially the ones getting unique viewers, getting a lot of views relative to their subscriber count. There's a lot that goes into it. With YouTube, it's definitely a long-term type thing. Like for example, I could release a video tomorrow, and this is just kind of how it is with any job, but just I could release a video tomorrow on a random just channel with no subscribers and put 10 times more effort into a video that I release on my actual channel, and it won't get any views on, because it's something you have to build up. You have to stick to it. Epstein list would break all of our brains. Yeah, I mean, it depends. There's been people that have compiled list type things. If they don't figure out the housing market, wouldn't the crash be good? Yeah, younger people want the housing market to it seems like it's cooling off. The housing market is, to me, it's dependent. Although, even my area, it's really bad, and you can tell it's really bad. I don't know about the rents. There's certain places, places that a lot of people move to that are cooling off. I know Florida's cooling off. At least the rent in Florida is cooling off. The rent in a lot of the suburbs in Houston is cooling off, or in Texas is cooling off. But, even in my area, the problem is these newer builds. The issue is just the markup on them is so insane, and it's pretty much every suburban home. I look like the value of my home, how much it's gone up, and other suburban homes, even newer homes that are let's just say it's 3-bedroom, 2-bath, you barely get a yard. you know, in a solid suburb, it's 380,000, 400,000. You know, we're talking about a home that was like 220,000 7 or 8 years. I mean, it's 7 or 8 years ago, it's like 200,000, 250,000. You know, these are going up by like 75%. So many new builds in Utah. Yeah, the new builds, they're always like this cheap type thing, and they all look the exact same. You know, they build them all together within developments. Trump should come out with a public statement saying he's not on the list. IDK why he won't do it. Either way, you don't believe his... I know he does have to push back with some type of thing. I agree with you. So I don't know what he has planned, if it's just gonna be swept under the rug. House isn't going up, the dollar is going down. I think it's probably a combination. But yeah, the purchasing power goes down. It's gone down the last 4 years significantly. You did some research. Trump flew with Eric on the Epstein private jet, but he was 11 at the time. Apart from that, there's just theories. Ivanka Tiffany flew on it too. Well, I mean, you have to understand, someone like Epstein, you know, that was his game, was to court people like Trump, powerful people, rich people. And you know, I don't think Trump bought into it, but there was some type of relationship there. Have you watched the new season of Quarterback? You think Kirk Cousins maybe? No, I never watched those shows, but that's funny. Kirk Cousins. Yeah, Kirk Cousins is an interesting dude. I remember Kirk Cousins from someone was like, you know, your teammate's gay, and he's like, well, nobody's perfect. This is not Cope. I know for a fact Trump is planning massive arrest on all the clients next week, Thursday, 3:31 a.m. That makes sense. You have all the information, Klaus. Thoughts on MTG? Obnoxious. Burrow is very cocky but chill. Goff, they tried to have you make him feel... Really, Jared Goff, they make you feel bad for him? Yeah, I remember his wife is hot, Jared Goff, because there was a video of her, she was celebrating something like he won his first playoff game and went viral. I remember that. You seen the new Saints helmet? No, I haven't. Man, I don't know. I don't like that. The all white, I just don't like. Especially with the Saints. To me, it's like, it just doesn't look good. Dude, you're asking for my opinion on the situation. Totally off the cuff. Well, I think obviously the U.S. and Israel had some type of something they were doing with Epstein, to where there was some type of blackmail with politicians to gain leverage, and they don't want it to be found out. And so whether or not, listen, now we can speculate on what the whole Trump thing was with their administration not being able to release this and then saying they were going to release it and then saying it doesn't exist. We can speculate on what that is. Saints almost have perfect logo, but something feels off. No, I love their logo. I like the Saints colors. I just don't like the all white. I like the Saints color scheme and everything, but when they had Drew Brees, they were a really fun team to watch. Chargers, yeah, when San Diego had great stuff. They should have just... It's like the old football. I mean, I don't watch much football anymore, much NFL. I don't know. When you get older, it's just... But I'm kind of unique in that. Most people get older, they like it more. That's a trick question. Would you smash Macron's wife? You'd have to ask Candace Owens. That was the APAC money that they gave you to mute me. It was they PayPal to they actually, I got it instantly. Mossad sent it to me. It was a gift card. I'm very appreciative. DJ LeMahieu, yeah, I saw he got DFA'd. I'm the biggest shill. I mean, I've criticized Trump and said it was bad. I don't know what you want me to do. This is the thing. It's never enough with people. Remember when they said I should denounce Trump after he struck Iran, or this, the situation with Iran? They overreact. And it's just like, listen, I said it was bad. I didn't even want Trump to do that. And Trump, you could argue, was right to do that because of, I mean, we eliminated their nuclear program, at least for the time being. But it's never enough. What's the read on the Epstein thing? Was it a cover-up for Israel? Yeah, it's a cover-up for Israel. It's a cover-up for the CIA, the FBI, Mossad. And so, I mean, the only thing we can't get a really full read on is why the administration would so brazenly say that they have certain documents and then say they don't exist. Or insinuate that they have certain documents. I know they've changed what they supposedly meant. They're like, well, it's not those documents, it's something else. But, it's just... Dude, you gotta stop. Yeah, I've been streaming for an hour and a half. This will definitely last 24 hours. There's it's a light night for sure. But I just don't know. Do you relish in me, like, I don't know why are some people obsessed with me calling out Trump? It's a weird fetish. It's like they want me to call out Trump. Like, I said Trump is bad. It's really bad. It's a bad fuck up. So what else do you want from me? $96-hour stream. Yeah, that's realistic. YouTube will love that. You can't even do that because they cut it off. YouTube cuts it off after 10 hours. Well, I'm gonna have to find the cat. I don't know where the cat is. I think he's sleeping. Cat's out of the bag. Well, so do you think they're really going to release stuff, but it got shut down by the Matrix, lack of a better term? I don't know what they were doing. They really botched it. They might have been thinking about releasing something, and it got shut down by higher ups. Give you Drake and Josh clips, dude. You should just watch Drake and Josh. I mean, what am I gonna show you? Clips on fucking YouTube with Drake and Josh. Just yeah, cats sleep about 18 hours a day. Let me tell you about cats and sleeping. Forgive me if I've talked about this already. No, I'm kidding. Elon found something in Trump's administration on the list. So Elon found someone on Trump's administration on the list. That's why he's misbehaving. I don't know. I don't think so. I think Musk is just a loose cannon who wanted more power, and he wasn't going to get it, evidently. You think after Epstein's 2008 arrest, he planned for worst case scenario if he was arrested a second time, and that's why he signed the will 2 days before dying? I know, but the timeline of it makes it seem like that would be, that makes it seem like it was more planned. If you sign it 2 days before supposedly killing yourself. How often does your cat sleep? Like 18 hours. 18 to 20 hours. I mean, a lot. You thought Musk was playing up the Trump divorce so Tesla would get less hate? Yeah, I don't know. The thing is with Musk, it's just who knows with him. You really just can't. I think he just got angry within the administration. I mean, it's been reported he got punched by Scott Bessent. I mean, the dude is he was unraveling, and he wanted to go into these meetings, and he didn't have the security clearance. They got angry. He would start throwing a fit and just. I mean, it's just constant ketamine flow, and it's just like, dude. Did they check Trump's bathroom at Mar-a-Lago? Yeah, I remember that picture of the bathroom. That was a luxury bathroom, man. That was one of those really small bathrooms too, and all the files were in it. They tried to make it a huge deal. Mad Frog, I appreciate it. Ironically, everyone who predicted Trump and Elon would break up predicted Trump would be the one to crash out. Turns out it was Elon. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people did predict that. I mean, it's just two massive egos. It's two massive egos. Didn't he shoulder check Bessent before? Yeah, he did. Apparently he did shoulder check him, and then Bessent just punched him. Dude, have a good night. All right, man, I'll see you. All right, I'll try and get him. He wants to get off. The cat. Pushback and observation equals a troll. No, you're right. You're the victim. No, you're the victim. You're right. Yep, back to sleep. That'll be another 20. That'll be another 3 hours. He's rustling around. Thoughts on Commanders new jerseys? I don't like the Commanders in general. They're releasing all these new jerseys now and these new helmets. I don't like the Commanders rebrand. The Redskins were so much better. The Redskins are just such a better just design. And why do they have this in... Oh, because this is the old design? Is that why it's up against the old RFK Stadium? Jane Daniels, yeah, he needs to put on some weight. I feel like he could have issues with injuries. He's very small. I mean, I guess there's some quarterbacks that have a knack for avoiding hits, but did you see Trump going to Club World Cup final? Yeah, dude, all these like sockets like Club World Cup FC, Premier League 7, Copa World Cup, CW. I mean, it's all these things with these soccer finals. Club World Cup. No, I didn't see that. It's Chelsea against someone. Chelsea against Manchester City. Listen, Barcelona, Manchester City, Manchester United. That's about it. Will you live stream Elon Musk's stream? What, with Grok? No, I think it starts too late. But even that stream would be awkward. What would I do? Just sit there and all they do is introduce new tech on their Grok 4 language model. They're like, all right, well listen, we're bringing out Grok 4 and we're gonna make it open just like it was last night. No, they're not gonna say that. Well, so so you're calling for a revolution then? You're calling for a revolution? Well, good luck, man. You think that dude, at this point it's I mean I think the biggest doomer thing is us deporting 4 million illegals, and you know that's not even 20% of the illegals in the country. The loading indicator. The final as in MetLife. Yeah, I know. Terrible stadium. Nations worldwide will be greeted at MetLife Stadium. That's next year. That's next year in the summer. What are the stats on a rate cut? Very low. Well, you mean that calculation I had pulled up? That's not going to happen. They're not going to do it. They have to remove Powell if they want to do it. It's not going to happen in July. You're not banned, man. You're not banned. Can't even understand what he's arguing. I think he's arguing for like a fucking Soviet Union 2.0. Yeah, we want your resources. We love you. That's like a That's like a 10-second song. That's impressive what I just did. If they made Tesla bots and infused with Grok with the Hitler persona, we could have Greenland taken over in a day. Well, yeah, Greenland would be Austria. That would be an annexation. Do they really come in beverage storage? Well, it's not even just coming. It's not even just semen. It's spit. It's just saliva. It's breathing in it. It's just I don't like it being in strangers' car. Just think about this. Do you really want your drink in a stranger's car? You know, maybe people call me a germaphobe. I don't know. I'd rather not deal with it. I'd rather have control over my beverage. Yeah, dude, you're not even banned. You're not even banned. You can continue the Soviet talking points. Make Dean Wade a mod. Yeah, I mean, man, he definitely comments a lot. It wouldn't. He is a mod. It wouldn't matter if I made him a mod. He's an AI agent by virtuals. Is it too late to get into NASDAQ 420? Well, I'm not going to give you advice on it. I think, you know, listen, I think it's going to do well. I'm not going to give you advice on what, you know, what to do. I just think it's going to do well as a beta play to SPX 6900. Did you get anything from Prime Day? I didn't even. There's only one day? No, I didn't even look at it. I didn't even look at it. Prime Day. They need to do a better job of advertising it. We are forced to sub to speak. Well, that's kind of obvious. You know, you get a lot of people coming in. I mean, I guess they'll do it anyways, but it mitigates trolls. And there's a timer that you have to be subscribed for a certain amount of time. Do a series on the Iraq war debacle. You know, I've got a script on an Epstein video. I don't know if I'm going to do it, though. I'm not sure. Because I just don't know if it's worth it. Ethan BTC pumping today. So hyped about one Ethereum before. You actually bought Ethereum. People still buy Ethereum? That surprises me. I mean, no, I hope Ethereum does well, but. Imagine if Hitler didn't invade the Soviet Union or declare war on the U.S. Could have. Him declaring war on the U.S. was irrelevant. We were already going to war. He declared war on the U.S. after the Pearl Harbor. It was already obvious. He just did it first. The United States was going to join the Allies, but the Soviet Union was going to. It was inevitable between Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union. He wanted to do it first and catch the Soviet Union off guard. Remember that stream people wanted to fight each other? I do remember that. I do remember that. That was a weird one. NFL should change modern football out. You mean uniforms? Yeah, no, I think a lot of the uniforms look bad nowadays. Was the election not your top earning stream? Yeah, but by far. You even seen gaming channels talking about Epstein? Guess it's the algorithm top. Really, gaming channels? That's surprising. No, it's never gonna be like my chat will never be like that, dude. It's because just the audience draw. It's like gonna be a younger audience. It's gonna be there's gonna be more criticism. You think neon? Yeah, neon jerseys are obnoxious, like highlighters and stuff, and like the piss green, like Mountain Dew. I mean, I think all of it is. I wouldn't mind it one time, but like you take a look at the Browns. You know, the Cleveland Browns. They used to have really good uniforms. If you go back and look at the Browns uniforms in like 2012, 2013, they had amazing uniforms. They went through one of the worst uniform rebrands. It was like in 2016 or 2015. The most disgusting looking uniforms. Then they changed it, but it's still not good. They had to rechange it because it was so bad, but it's still not good. Yeah, I remember the whale fight. The whale fight. You know, that was probably the craziest donation I've gotten. At least I finally have an answer to the craziest donation I've gotten. Yesterday was the craziest donation I've ever gotten. It's like would you give Muhammad Atta a blowjob for 9/11 not to happen? Blonde, brunette, or redhead? Thin. That you gotta give. I'll give him credit on that donation. I mean, Pam Bondi or Cash? Cash. Cash is better than Bondi. Bondi has just been because Bondi's been blatantly. I mean, Cash has been bad too. They both kind of have egg on their face right now, and I don't know if it's gonna change. I mean, if the Epstein stuff continues to go the way it's going. If Germany wants to be the largest military in Europe, would they invade Russia and do an Operation Barbarossa? No, 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 no. They're left wing. They're not gonna do any invasions. They're not fascists, you know. So I don't see them being the aggressor and invading because yeah, they have a big army. You know, Germany is just a phenomenal power. They really are. Obviously, their politics are not great, but Didn't AH surrender 6 times before he opted to go to war with Warsaw? Well, you mean Poland, the invasion of Poland? No, he didn't surrender. I mean, there were peace negotiations. He wanted peace with the Western European countries. The minnow. I appreciate the donation. What's wrong with MetLife Stadium? Thought it was pretty good, but rarely visit other stadiums. Yeah, it's not very good. It's very bland, and the interior design of it. You know, it's fully closed. It's just not a great. The cat. Yeah, the cat wanted to leave. um, Asian baddie, Latin, Latino, or white, white. What's up with Greenland weirdos? What, in the chat? Well, I do a lot of videos on Greenland, so people talk about it sometimes. It's an algorithm thing. You know, this is what it is. I'll just be honest. The thing is I was trying to do a video on Alberta because it's like, you know, I'm trying, and this is like, I really should do different videos and try and get more viewers different ways. But the Alberta videos always got views. The Greenland videos always get views. So I try and look for news. And I was going to make a Alberta video. There's no news. I'm like trying to find something like, because all these other channels, they do these videos. They're like Alberta and Saskatchewan about to leave. So I'm like, oh, sweet. There must be news. There's like nothing. So I'm like, I don't even know. Where do I find it? Like, just give me a single article and I can just, I can just make a video out of it. Is it bad to need to goon almost every day? I mean, it depends. You know, if you shouldn't be doing it if you're in your 20s. You know, as a teenager, I know, you know, it's a bit different, but you should be able to restrain yourself. They're just milking it because it's the way the algorithm is. I mean, because the algorithm's weird. You do certain topics, it just gets views automatically. And I know people say, well, it's because people click on those videos, but it's like the same videos over and over again. And it's how it works. that Hitler coin, I saw that. Yeah. No, but dude, it's over now. I don't know. You think that coin's gonna do well? I don't know. Those Solana coins are annoying, man. They're annoying. ICE facility has been getting riot attacks. It's terrible. It's terrible, terrible. We can't even deport 1 million people a year without them throwing a fit. They let in 2.5 million per year. We can't even deport 1 million. How is that fair? They get to let in 2.5 million. Not a peep. No one goes to jail for that. We try and deport, you know, like 1/2 of that. You ever wonder what the people were thinking above the impact zone in the North Tower? Imagine how scary it must have been looking out. Yeah, I think everyone thinks about that. That's one of the first things you think about when you really get into 9/11. And I mean, I think a lot of them were just so confused. I mean, you're so confused, you don't really know. You don't know what's going to happen to the building. But if you're above the impact zone, it was the smoke. The smoke and the heat were the worst parts. But the smoke, you know, the place was just a chimney. The elevator shafts, they said, were chimneys. They would just funnel the smoke up the smoke would just funnel up the elevator shafts and go into all the floors. Can you invite all your chat to your birthday? It's only like 400. 400. That's tough. That's tough to accommodate. Germany mass immigration will turn them right wing. Yeah. I mean, I think a lot. You're seeing it with many of those European countries now. At least they have a political party that's right wing in Germany, the AfD, and there's other parties. You've got the Reform Party. Whatever is happening in Italy. I mean, they always say that woman is all talk, no action, but you know they're starting to turn a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, the problem is the bigger cities have already gotten crushed. Reform UK is winning. Yeah, I know. You see what Starmer said. He said they're going to stop the. I mean, they've admitted they've lost. Think about it. They're like, oh, we're going to start the. We're going to start deporting people. Does the new World Trade Center have mitigations for potential attacks? If you look at the new World Trade Center, I don't think. No, I don't think the new World Trade Center would be targeted. It's just a completely different building than either of the Twin Towers. Yeah, I remember this.
Dr. O'Connor, were you ever told to lie about the president's health?
On the advice of counsel, I must respectfully decline to answer based upon the physician-patient privilege and in reliance on my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution. I am not a lawyer. I must follow.
Yeah, so basically the liberals will just say, well, it's the privilege. He can't give out information. It's all
my lawyer's advice in this matter.
Seems like a pretty simple question. Did you lie about the AutoPenn's health? Yes or no? O'Connor pleaded the Fifth 14 times in 20 minutes.
I must respectfully decline to answer based on the physician-patient privilege and reliance on my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution. On my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution. On my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution. On my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution. On my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
Dr. O'Connor, were you ever told to lie?
50% tariff. Copper. I wonder, did I actually private that World at War video? I'm going to have to see if I can recover that. If it was targeted, though. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think they put anything up there. Maybe superstitious people got parachutes. I don't know. Germany designated the AfD as a right-wing extremist organization or something like that. Ever since Hitler, Germany's been terrified of anything even remotely right-wing. I know. No, absolutely. And, you know, there's a lot that's come from that in terms of just being very anti-right-wing, anti-race, and there's a lot that's come from World War II for sure. But, you know, them designating that party, it's terrible. I mean, they're a right-wing party. You're going to say that? It's ridiculous. But Who would you pick as your 2028 candidate for the election? I don't know. I mean, I'd have to see who would run. Be a modern equivalent to the World Trade Center, just as iconic. I mean, Empire State Building is a pretty iconic building, but the way that the Empire State Building is built, I don't think it would. You know, we're gonna get into the whole thing about the. I mean, there is a lot of stuff. Like, I understand people say, you know, oh, it's you know, Israel is terrible and they've caused all this stuff. But like, a lot of these people are also, they get delusional. Like, you know, I released a video talking about the Twin Towers, and I was like, well, you know, it's just the reality. They these towers went down because of you know, the airplanes, and people were like, I think people genuinely believed that, you know, I got told something by some Jew or something, that I had to come up with a video like that. And some of them are joking, I'm sure, but I mean, it's just not true at all. It's just not. I mean, I have the most popular Dancing Israelis video on YouTube. They've never contacted me about anything. So I think people are a little delusional when it comes to some of that stuff. New World Trade Center doesn't have the helipad. Yeah, what was it? The South Tower had? No, it was the North Tower that had the helipad. The South Tower was the observation deck. Can we agree tariffs are bad, right? Dude. Well, I mean, why would tariffs right now be bad for the administration? Tariffs have earned us around, you know, an estimate potential $200 billion more in revenue while not increasing inflation. Why is that bad? And also, you know, domesticating more jobs. Seen the renderings for Jags Stadium upgrade? Yeah, no, unless there's brand new ones, I've seen them. Unless there's new ones within the past few weeks. They've been out for a while. Is the New World Trade Center planned? Well, the New World Trade Center is designed different. You know, the building is not built based off of its core and its outer columns. I mean, those towers were built where there was no middle support. The support was contained within the core and the outer walls. It's a very strange. I mean, those towers were very obsolete. They barely let in any natural light. They were very, you know, I don't think they would have aged well. You'd like to start over? Your name is friggin' Putin, and you're not a troll, all right? You think Roman Reigns? Roman Reigns, there's a name. I remember when I was younger, I watched WWE. They were trying to make Roman Reigns a big star. He's still fighting. He's probably made a ton of money. We need Drake and Josh clips. I mean, but dude, the thing is I'm not even going to. I'm just gonna be sitting here playing Drake and Josh clips. Can't you watch Drake and Josh clips by yourself? I mean, if it's like something thought provoking or I need to react to something, but it's like. Hannah Montana, Wizards of Waverly Place, Sweet Life on Deck, Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. Dude, but remember when you were dooming about the tariffs? You were dooming about the tariffs. What happened with that? That was a dumb thing to doom about. What do you think the best sports time zone is? Seems like Central is the best. East Coast is good on weekends, but not during the week if your team's on West. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say East Coast just because the 10 o'clock starts. You have to either say Central or a Mountain. Yeah, probably Mountain. Or probably, I mean, people argue Mountain is actually the best, but Mountain, you're dealing with earlier starts. It's either Central or Mountain if you want to be, like, optimized to I mean, I think East is fine, but... $1% remittance tax? I thought it was 5%. Is it seriously 1%? No way. No way it's 1%. I thought they got it at 5% at least. Mountain is the best. You're in Central, but you also have to wake up super early for work. Yeah, so you like it starting earlier. Yeah, but think about Mountain for college football is rough. You get 10 a.m. noon, starts. College football, I would say East is the best for college football. Because West, you got 9 a.m. starts. That's brutal. Even Mountain, you got 10 a.m. Can't believe Trump didn't tax remittance his first term. That's how Mexico pays for the wall. Yeah, remember that. That was one of the most frustrating things ever is, him saying Mexico would pay for the wall and then liberals saying, no, they're not going to. Yeah, that's because Trump's nice. He didn't threaten them with anything. Yeah, Trump administration officially announced Jeffrey Epstein was not a real person per Axios. They're covering their tracks. They're covering every step. They're escalating the situation. The island didn't exist. The island was a hologram. Move to Moscow, the women are fit. Yeah, I wonder what the percentage in terms of like Russia, how many of your women are in shape. In the United States, we've got a problem with both sexes. I can't even say it's just women, but we've got a huge problem. And I'm not even sure. I mean, maybe they're trying to solve it, but it just seems Don't tariffs restrict free market? Yeah, but think about free market. Think about what free market means. Free market in what sense? It's easier for China to produce the same things we produce, the exact same things, because their labor laws are a lot looser. So what does free market really mean? I mean, you have to define free market because countries are not participating under the same rules in terms of being able to produce things. China will be able to produce things cheaper than we are. That's free market. They undercut us, and then we, outsource our jobs. It's just, I mean, I know what you're saying, but why the fuck would you go to that island? Yeah, I remember that. Do you think there is secret documents? Somebody went to the island and then they filmed around it. They filmed like the upper part, just the top of it, and then they quickly left. Isn't it within the U.S. Virgin Islands? So it's a territory. It's a U.S. territory. Free market, we pay 200% tariff. Yeah, that is true. I mean, in some cases, we were getting screwed on that. And they don't even, some of the, the European countries, they call it something else other than tariffs. They kind of hide it. How well did your crypto portfolio do? Yeah, my crypto portfolio has been pumping because a lot of my coins are up. Think about it. I mean, hopefully this is just the hopefully this is just the beginning. But a lot of my coins are up, and so this will be very good. This will be a very good bull run for me. Huh. Mr. Beast. Another Mr. Beast coin. Make a video about Les Wexner. Yeah, I mean that's the video I was gonna make. JFK for his short stint had a lot of aura. You know, it also helps you're a bit younger. Man, this coin actually tanked. What because they took it off? They took off the update. Altcoins are still way down in general. Oh, I know. They're still that's why I'm bullish, because my portfolio is at least recovering a little bit and everything's still down significantly. Isn't outsourcing a good thing? Americans can focus on creating higher level work. Yeah, but then you're free. I mean, you're gonna have more people fighting for the same jobs, and the demand for certain jobs is gonna be so high, it's gonna make the jobs even harder for people to you know, be able to work them. It's I mean, listen, we can do trade with countries, and sometimes countries make things that we don't make, and that they can make it cheaper, but the vast majority of the situations are them just undercutting our prices significantly. Like a lot of the auto jobs are quality, and people get paid significantly to do auto jobs in the United States. And feel like shit watching Trump betray every single one of his promises. What about sealing the border? Who's your pick to win the home run derby? Probably Aaron Judge over Cal Raleigh. I don't even know who's competing in it. What about deportations? That's why they got the funding for the deportations. They just got it. They got 700K people self-deported. I mean, if they've already got 1 million people, deported within the first 5 months, it's pretty good. What happened to Fort Knox? That's a good buy. That's a good buy if that now they're, because that was an Elon initiative, or maybe Elon will kick it up again with his new party. Yeah, it's at 26. It's actually maintaining. It's at 26K. Elon, tell me if you're gonna tweet about Fort Knox. I'll get a nice little 7x. Dude, that America Party coin, I don't even know how that coin did that. It did like a 5,000x. The one on Ethereum. What's with the dramatization over everything bad that happens? Is it because people have too high hopes for Trump, or some people just like that? Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's just modern politics, and I think there's a lot of counter signaling going on with Republicans, and so some of these guys are gonna come in here, they're gonna say stuff that's fine. Feel like everyone is waiting for everything to happen all at once. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. It's Tate's coin is named after a father. Not gonna say it. What you're talking about? Daddy the coin. Yeah, Tate is a. That's what he named his coin. Can you do videos on Area 51 like you do? Yeah, I mean there's probably some interesting stuff on Area 51. It might just be like a few videos if I did it. Thoughts on the 15th coin? What, the Hitler coin? The one dude said it was gonna hunt 300x. I don't think so. They already changed it back. They were wrong about the Iran strikes. Well, this is different than the Iran strikes because this is, I mean, unless something else comes out of this and this is just some type of ploy, it doesn't really seem like it's that. It seems like this is a really botched job by the administration, unfortunately. I already gave up on NASDAQ. No, that's my top coin. That's my top coin. I really don't do these trades. I just look at them. Heard the story about the Chinese illegals pot houses in Maine. Chinese illegals in Maine? How did they venture up there? Yeah, you would be in that DeepSeek R2. Yeah, of course you are. You think you're smart? You're front running everyone on it? Dude, come on. I do remember that episode of Oprah's Crib. I remember that, yeah. Got to stream late. What's your take on crypto today? Very bullish. Very bullish. It seems like it's setting up perfectly for a Q3, Q4. BTC late Q. I mean, it already is Q3, but BTC maybe early Q4. The alts run late in Q4. I mean, think about it. Ethereum, and I think it's going to be an extended cycle too because of the amount of money in crypto. Think about it. Ethereum is even pumping. Bitcoin is reaching a new all-time high. I mean, I think Bitcoin's going to go to 150, maybe 200. Chinese paratroopers landing in Butt. Why would they be in? How'd they venture to Maine? Favorite chain restaurant, sit down or fast? Not fast food. So which one do you want? You want sit down? Chain restaurant. I don't really like the chain restaurants. I don't really like Outback. Applebee's is very blunt. I mean, they're all right. There's I like a kind of more of an upscaled, maybe not too sophisticated, but maybe a little more upscaled. I like a nice restaurant, a nice open restaurant. Maybe a late dinner. You go all in on the Melania coin. Just that coin just sucked all of our liquidity. It just the worst thing imaginable is the Melania, and really the Trump coin as well. Oh, yeah, I hate it. I don't like Olive Garden. Nah. Smoky Bones, I never heard of it. Arby's, nah. I mean, I don't really eat Arby's. Little Caesars, the pizza. I like Antonio's pizza. Antonio's is a good one to get. They're maybe a little bit more expensive. You look like you're adapted. I like colder weather on average. You know, we have a nice weather situation where it's you know, it's like 50 degrees in the fall. It's very nice. Imagine if it was 50 degrees tomorrow. That would be amazing. If it was 50 degrees tomorrow, just randomly, I should go up to Yellowknife, Canada. It'll be 50 degrees. That would be a breath of fresh air. Five Guys are Raising Cane's. Well, they're very different. But I would say Five Guys are better than Raising Cane's. Buffalo Wild Wings. You know, I remember Buffalo Wild Wings, very pricey, very pricey. You know, the wings are very pricey. I remember eating at an airport once, and the wings were like, it was 4 wings for $30. I never seen anything like it. You know, they gouge you at the airports, but at a certain point, it's like, these are average wings. I never seen something where it's like $8 a wing. This is getting outrageous. Yeah, remember that? I gotta find that. I'm not gonna be able to find that. I'm not gonna be able to find that. What was that in reaction to? I might be able to, if I remember what it was. It was I think it was The View. Yeah, it was from The View. Red Robin, is that a buffet maybe? The buffets are iffy. You know, that food's left out for a while. The food's left out. Everyone's scrambling to get their piece. They're like sardines. This is America. We're all sardines. We're all going to get like fucking their 6th serving. It's yeah, I know, but that's like pretty much every Whoopi video, so it's hard. Red Robin in your town closed. I'm sorry to hear that. Whataburger or In-N-Out? I never really had Whataburger. I've heard they're both overrated. I mean, In-N-Out, I guess. I never really had either. We don't, you know, I don't live in Texas. I don't live in California, so we don't have them. You were at a Chinese buffet? There was this one breakfast place I went to back in the spring, and this was a former buffet that they renovated and turned into a restaurant, but you could still feel the remnants of a buffet. You could still feel the grease oozing out of the walls of this place. And they were trying to, because it was a Chinese buffet, You know, with the Chinese places, they've got the water, the koi ponds. These koi ponds, they're trying to like hide them. They like fill the koi ponds with soil. It just looks terrible. And then some of the koi ponds were just empty, and it's like this remnants of a buffet, and it's crowded. Ugh. Burger King, dude, I don't like Burger King. I barely ever had Burger King. When I was younger, I had Wendy's, McDonald's, Subway. Those are the main ones, I think. I had Dairy Queen a lot. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this live stream. Thoughts on Trump basically passing mass amnesty, giving all these farm workers. Well, it's a work program. No, I think it's bad, but it's only a few hundred. You already know it's from 3 weeks ago. I'll post it. You want me to post it as a short on my channel? I never post shorts, but maybe because it's so funny, I should post it. Even if it doesn't get views, I mean, I still want to have it. All right, guys, I'll see ya.